how most people start consuming marijuana and how that actually ends up progressing over time. So, what am I saying here? Well, everyone basically has a starting point when it comes to smoking marijuana. Obviously, it tends to happen a little bit when people are younger, and at least from the experiences that I've had so far with clients. Now, one of the things that you'll find is it usually starts off mostly as just a social icebreaker. So, friends get together, they are forming friendships, they're experiencing relationships in a sense for the first time. And so they may be playing video games or doing other things with friends, and lighting up a joint tends to kind of go into the equation with that. So what ends up happening over the course of time is people go through their schooling, they graduate, they get out in the world, they have to get a job, they have to get sober for that job to pass a background check and a drug test. And kind of life goes on, relationships, kids, family things and whatnot. And so when it starts off, it's usually more so a way to find a sense of community, or a way to bond with other people. And it's just kind of something that seems to start around 14 to the 18-year range within that age bracket. And then as they turn into an adult and they go through life. Now, life, as you probably already know, has some, curveballs that get thrown every now and then. So things that you don't expect to happen, and you either adapt and overcome those things, or you just try your best to brush it under the rug and not think about it. And so that's kind of where marijuana starts to become more of a tool than something that was just passing the time with friends. So what ends up happening is a lot of people have experiences that are less than pleasant. And rather than choosing to figure out why they're not enjoying their life, whether that's the career, the relationship, or just in general other aspects of their life, it's far easier to just ignore that and then go smoke and change your internal atmosphere, change how you are feeling in that moment. And that it seems to serve a lot of people initially. When they start smoking, most people are smoking because of the benefits that they actually are experiencing from smoking. So they calm down a little bit more. Maybe their ADHD is a little bit easier to manage without having to go on some kind of psychotropic. And, it just kind of turns into this thing that is providing, in a sense, value to the person that is consuming it. And they tend to also meet people that are like-minded in their relationships as well. And as they go through life, a lot of people kind of, in a sense, weirdly outgrow marijuana. They get to a point where they've not had a relationship with themselves for so long sober. They don't really know who they are without being compromised. That eventually that kind of rears its head in a sense, and it forces them to start facing themselves, start working on these internal issues that are going on that they've been just smoking away, not paying attention to, just brushing under the rug. And eventually what ends up happening is what was once beneficial. Smoking, you had a lot of great experiences, you laughed, it changed your state, you felt better. Eventually, it turns into I smoked and I had a panic attack and anxiety, and my paranoia is getting worse, and I actually find myself becoming more irritable, especially if I don't have enough of my marijuana. And so what was once beneficial actually starts becoming something that's not beneficial. And that's where people usually want to do like a detox in a sense. And I call it a detox because usually most people, on some level want to pretend that they don't have an addiction. So they say, oh, I'll just take a break. I'm in control here. But the point is that they still go back to it and they use it in that same manner, as to escape things or to change how they feel the easiest way possible, which is lighting something up and inhaling it. Versus, if you want to feel better, go running. There's a runner's high. You want to feel better about, your appearance, go to the gym, start your diet, start changing those things. And, I'm not saying this from a guy with no experience. I used to actually be 310 pounds earlier in my 20s. And I realized that, even in my dating life, I was not happy. But the type of women that I was able to get when I was a 310 pound man was not necessarily what I was looking for when it came to women. And one of the ways that I was actually able to start realizing that as well is the pornography consumption that I had did not necessarily correlate with the type of woman that I was dating, at least with the looks department. And so I looked around and I was observing from a sober place that it seems like a lot of the fit chicks that I was more interested in were also with men that were fit. And so that kind of led me down a path of not only changing my diet, but also going to the gym, getting off of pornography, and getting over the social anxieties that I had to where I could actually go up to the women that I found most attractive and shoot my shot. And lo and behold, now I'm in a 7-year-long relationship. I'm 33 years old. I have my own business, and I also am, very happy with the way that my partner looks, and I'm also continuously evolving how I'm showing up in my own goals and habits. And there's been nothing but positives from developing that relationship with myself. And so if I can kind of say anything here to you, one, that's not to brag. Obviously, I worked hard for that. So in a sense, I'm entitled to those, statements. But I want the same thing for you. I want you to be able to have that relationship with yourself, to actually get down and understand, what is it that you really want out of life? What is it that you are maybe saying that you're okay with that you're really not okay with? And what do you need to do to go to the dream place that you want? What do you need to do? What is it that you need to do to get there? And so when you start to realize that, everybody starts off at some place. And then eventually, we just outgrow certain things in life. And once we outgrow those things, we look back at certain things and we can't even necessarily relate to them. And we don't necessarily need them, and it's time to sometimes just let go. So if you're looking to let go of this marijuana and start working towards some of these goals and dreams that you have that maybe you've not been acting on, you've been procrastinating on, or brushing under the rug, just trying to ignore, but now you're ready to face those, definitely reach out to me. I love to hear them. I'd also like to support you in getting to that place to where you can go after those things and actually achieve them. Because I can tell you right now, from somebody that used to eat all the junk food in the world, that's changed the way I even eat. I look back at the way I used to eat. I don't really keep soda in the house. I'll go out though and I'll enjoy a soda, but it's in moderation. I have control over that now. And it's a completely different mindset to be in, and it's a very freeing place to be in. And if I can gift anything to the people I see, is just giving them that sense of freedom in their life. And so if this is something that interests you, reach out. Let's get this going.